welcome to Conservatory Magic. Start again.
We're somewhere else. Well, no, keep it going because I think this is gold. Welcome to Fireside Chat.
Which is actually not...
We're on location, 100 yards from our usual location because the dog is sitting in front of the fire and we didn't want to move him. So
we're sitting in the conservatory instead.
So here we are in the conservatory.
So this is an all-trick issue of Fireside Chat.
Fireside Chat 21. All tricks.
Because we've got
all the time
a few things to show. And the first one, this was a little idea that appeared in Linking Ring in September, which is the organ of the IBM, from someone at name I'm not familiar with, Henry Holava. Yes, Henry Holava, in his one-man parade.
Hulava.
Right.
I think that's.
Well, I hope he's not watching this.
Henry Hulava. And I believe it's pronounced.
He had a nice idea, simple idea, with a dub pan.
I'm acting as a spectator on this because I've not seen a lot of these ideas.
And he
so
talked
I'll give
about
reactions.
Putting in a balloon, putting the lid on like that, and getting the children to blow. Because he said he didn't like actually blowing the balloon himself, so could the children do it, and we'll see if we can do it by magic. Now you can probably guess what's going to happen here. There is one drawback which Henry actually mentions, which is you get a clunk as you press this down. So at that point I think I would get the children not only to blow but also to say abracadabra. So now we're going to get the clunk. There it is. But the nice thing is, if you keep your hand,
discreet, isn't it?
If you keep your hand on that, slowly the thing actually pushes up, and you can now take that off and show.
That does look quite magical because it's nearly double the size.
The inflated balloon actually appearing in there. So I say, as he points out, you just need to cover the noise element, but I think that's a very magical way of blowing up a balloon, particularly if you're going to use that in something like, I don't know, Forgetful Freddy or
so
something like that.
the moment comes when you press down on the...
Yeah, because you've got...
Oh, you're exposing the method, sorry.
You will find that you need a fair... That's it. Push it in on two clips.
Beautiful. Right, okay.
And then put it in.
So as we put it over, and it's when you press it, so it's when you actually go for the final press.
Yeah, there's a little tip actually that I'll pass on here.
So could we have a magic wand to tap it with or something, and then release it?
Release both sides.
Oh, look at that! And then it sticks to the lid if you're me. It's a bit of static going on there.
Yeah. There's a little tip actually that Eric Sharp showed me years ago, which is a common fault with the dub pan, particularly if you've got children sitting on the floor. That you'd see entertainers going, so we'll put the lid on, and every child on the floor.
Oh, we mentioned this before actually, in the previous one.
Well, I think it bears repetition.
You said that I did it like that, but that's because I got caught by kids so many times that I learned to hold it like this.
So simply hold that at an angle and put it on like that, and all is sweetness and light. So there we are. Thank you very much to Henry for that.
You could, of course, attach a pump. You could attach a little pump so you get the kid to actually pump a real pump.
You could do that.
Although they may think it's actually just pumping the balloon up there.
Well, they might, but I did think that was...
Or you could get them to pump something that's obviously not connected to it on the other side, get them pumping up and down on something.
I think it was in this same issue. Marty Hahn has been putting together a very good column called Kid Show Circuit. Marty Hahn, friendly with Marty and Brenda run
Daytona
Dazzling Magic over in America, and he's put together a really good column here, and this particular one was called Let the Children Do the Magic, and his whole premise was, and you can tell me from your experience, John, but his whole premise was, if you can get a child to actually empower the child to make the magic happen, then so much the better.
And similarly, not just that, if something goes wrong, rather than blaming it on the child, if you sort of make out that they've been clever and played a trick on you and made something go wrong, like when a one breaks, if you say, "You're playing tricks on me again, how did you do that?" and you act surprised that they've been able to do it, rather than, "You've broken that again, look at that," it's a different attitude to take.
You're keeping the note of menace out of your voice. You're trying to.
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't.
You've done it again.
Done it again. Are you a fool? You know.
So what did Marty actually say? Marty said that often people do a routine where they're going to make a paper hat out of tissue, and they get the child to do as I do. And what happens at the end of it, the child ends up with torn bits of paper, and you triumphantly produce the hat, which makes you feel pretty good, but makes the child feel pretty awful. So Marty suggested something quite different. You've got the gimmicked bits of tissue paper, and you give the child 2 other bits of tissue paper. Doesn't matter, they don't have to be the same colour, it doesn't matter what they are. And you tear them up. You tear yours up, which is obviously going to reveal the hat. But before you get to that point, you say to the child, okay, have you torn yours up? Hold them in that hand and hold mine in this hand. Let's see how you've got on. Now this does 2 things. It means that the child can't reveal the hat because he's got both hands actually occupied. But secondly, you can now take those torn bits of paper and say, let's see how you've done. You open them, and of course you are holding all the torn bits. You say, oh, that wasn't very successful. How have you done?
Let's say how you've done. You could sort of even say, I'll show you what to do. This is what you do. You do this, okay. And then you get it wrong.
You get it wrong, but then you say to the child...
He's left them with the hat, isn't he?
We open that one and see how you've managed to do. The child opens it, and there is the formed hat. So the child has done something that you've not been able to do. So you say, wow, you're a real magician. Now, as the child is opening that, and all attention is on the child, you simply steal a mouth coil. So you've got a mouth coil in your hand with all your torn bits of paper. Get the child now, as he's obviously a very good magician, wave the wand over the top, and now you start producing the mouth coil from the torn up.
And that's nice, not to. A lot of people don't like putting things in the mouth.
And I thought that was a great idea. It's empowering.
I can see that being very good. We sort of pull it out, say you'll not be able to do anything with this, then pull out about a foot of it and leave it hanging there and pretend not to notice, and then you take the end and pull a bit more and more and more. So I can see that being very good.
So you end up.
Have you got any mouth coils? I think I'll buy some for go home.
So you end up with the child actually doing 2 magic tricks.
Yeah.
They actually create the hat, and then you produce this.
Turn that particular trick into quite a feature, then.
Yeah.
Which it is anyway. I mean, it's a great trick.
Well, I did ask Marty if I could use what he'd written there. I'm obviously not reading it word for word, but all thanks to Marty Hahn, not me, for what I thought was a really good way of presenting a very simple trick and turning it into, as you say, quite a feature. Talking of turning things into a feature, one of our best-selling tricks, and one that John does all the time, is Picture Fun.
Well, thanks to Gary Dunn's DVD, I edited it straight
Let's
after
not mention
filming
Gary.
that. Yeah.
Try and keep him out of the
well, I saw that and thought, I can improve on that.
Hope you're watching this, Gary.
No, it was great, and it's become a major part of my show, and I've even sort of devised my own versions of it.
So, for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, it's a little wooden frame with an open front, and you show a card to everybody, but you say...
It's like a children's mechanical deck, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So,
you say, I don't want John to see this card, but I'm showing it all of you, and you turn the card around and pop it into the frame so it stays in view all the time. And you say that the child is going to win a little prize, provided they can match the card in here from the selection that you're going to offer them. But you show everybody that in fact it's all the same card. Now the tables are turned on you as the individual because the child actually chooses a totally different picture. And when you take the one out of the frame, lo and behold, it matches. So that's the basic idea.
So it's like a prediction gone wrong, then goes right in the end.
But what John does is while he talks to the audience, he gets the child who is helping to stand with
this
their
something
back.
Gary did actually. So I mean, this was directly from Gary's DVD. He sends the child away.
Okay.
And says,
just stand over there.
Go stand over
don't
there.
Listen.
And don't listen. I added a little bit where I kept saying, "You're not in trouble."
Because children think they're being sent into the corner.
I think Gary's using this bit now because I now do the bit where I check whether the child can hear me and say, "Can you hear me?" And there's a great bit where you say, "Can you hear me?" I say it with the mic. I say it as loudly into the mic as I can. And if the kids, if you're lucky, maybe 6 out of 10 times the kid will say no when they've got the back to you, which is a great line. So you can just sort of then have a very long moment of silence as you look at the parents and they all react, and then you go, I'm suspicious.
Well, it just struck me that you could actually build on this, and you want something like this. Now, we're filming this...
Do it two the same, really. But
two the same, but I didn't have two the same.
Things like that. You do like, what, these Christmas pudding containers?
Well, exactly. We're filming this in November, so now would be a good time to try and get hold of these, preferably in black, and the bigger the better. And an Alice band, and the idea is then that you send the child to stand in the corner with... Actually, I prefer them on you, I think.
In the chamber of isolation.
In the chamber of isolation. And the bigger, the better, because you get a very comical moment where the child has got these huge headphones on, and you say, "Can you hear me?" And of course, the child...
Ear muffler. I think it'd be quite interesting, it's like on the TV programmes where they put them headphones on and they're playing music. If you were using show cues or some other system where you could play music on demand with a remote, if you could put him on and say, there we are, so she's listening to music, let's see what she's listening to, and you could pull it away and have the sound sample of some track, some nursery rhyme or something, and put it back. Then later on you could go back and let's just see if she's still, and then lift it up again and have some gangster rap on or something and put it back. I just think it'd be really funny to have all different I thought that'd be quite a really nice idea.
Well, there's the idea. If you can make something of it, then by all means do.
Take those home with me.
And spray them black.
Spray them black.
And the last thing that
I'll
we've
get two
got...
matching ones, although two different ones would be even funnier maybe, I don't know.
But the bigger they are, the better. Or you could even, if you've got two huge pom-poms, so they look really absurd.
Yeah.
On the child's head. And just to round this off, a fairly short and sweet, but just a few ideas.
It's like a tips and hints section.
It is, but this is our old friend.
We got a bit heavy last time on that subject of the props argument, so we thought we'd just give some tips on puppets and props.
This is our old friend, the dog arm puppet, and those of you who've been on our website will know that I do a little routine with sponge balls where a sponge ball keeps appearing in the dog's mouth. There's always been a slight difficulty as to how you get the first sponge ball in. I tend to put it down, and when I'm not looking, the dog actually just picks it up. And that can be a little bit hit and miss. But one of our customers, Jan Eisenbart, contacted us and came up with what I thought was an absolutely outstanding little bit of business. And that is that you say that you're going to do an interview with the microphone. You're going to interview the dog. And so you now put this near the dog sniffs it, licks it a bit, and then suddenly, as you're not watching, the whole thing vanishes.
That's a really nice, logical way to get into that routine. It's a really nice way to get into it. I think that's great.
Then you can go from there with the usual way of, with the second one, loading in the one that's in your hand. So this is the one that does all the work. This one just stays in the dog's mouth all the time.
It's a brilliant way to sort of give it back, wrestling with him and all that, and then going into the routine. It's a great way to get into it.
But I think this is so simple. It's just a little black tube,
plastic tube,
and a black sponge ball tucked into the top, and the dog pinches it off there.
And that's great. And it wouldn't even have to be black. You could be any colour. You get my pop shields in any colour, don't you?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter if you want a specific colour. Then you can use any colour.
But if you say it's a microphone, that's what it is, and then the dog just pinches it off there. So thank you very much to Jan, because I think
that's a great idea.
Exceptional bit of business. Stop that. So there we are. Our very first
old trick Fireside Chat. That's not by the fireside. But the sun's in my eyes as well. That's why I'm doing this. I'm not sort of... I haven't got conjunctivitis or anything. It's very sunny today.
It is very sunny. But I don't think they want to have a weather forecast particularly. So
we'll see you next time.
We'll see you next time.
The next Fireside Chat.
Thanks a lot.
Bye.